On July 2nd, a massive extraterrestrial mothership with a diameter of almost 340 miles launches dozens of 15-mile-wide destroyer spacecraft in a ring around the planet. Many of Earth's biggest cities, including New York, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and Moscow, are covered by the destroyers. MIT alumnus David Levinson, who is working on satellites for a cable business in New York City, finds a signal buried in satellite transmissions that he interprets as a countdown leading up to an alien attack. David and his father, Julius, are able to enter the Oval Office with the assistance of his ex-wife, Constance Spano, a White House employee, in order to inform President Thomas J. Whitmore about the coming attack. David informs Whitmore there that the alien invaders are coordinating their attack via satellite technology. The aliens attack with sophisticated directed energy weapons before the president can finish the widespread evacuations of the designated American cities. As a destroyer decimates Washington, D.C., the president, his young daughter, some of his staff, Constance, and the Levinsons barely make it onto Air Force One. Millions of people die in the simultaneous destruction of Los Angeles and New York. The Black Knights, a squadron of Marine Corps FA-18 Hornets from El Toro Marine Corps Air Station, take part in an assault on the ship that has destroyed the city of Los Angeles on July 3rd, as part of the United States' concerted counterattack. The vessel answers by launching a large number of smaller attacker spacecraft that are similarly insulated and equipped with high-energy laser blasters when their guns fail to pierce the force field of the object. Thereafter, the FA-18 squadrons are swiftly annihilated in one-sided dogfights. Despite Jimmy Wilder, his wingman, being shot down and luring one attacker to the Grand Canyon, Captain Stephen Hiller is able to avoid the cannons of the attacking ships. He deploys the landing chute for his jet, obscuring the alien craft's window, briefly distracting the pilot, just as his aircraft is about to run out of fuel and the attacker is ready to pass him. Captain Hiller jumps out of his aircraft. The extraterrestrial settles in the desert after colliding with the canyon's upper wall. Captain Hiller jumps to a nearby landing and storms over to confront whatever living form is in the alien ship. A strange-looking creature with tentacles appears when the entrance to the alien fighter craft opens. "Welcome to Earth," says Captain Hiller as he strikes the creature with a right cross. He reclines and puffs on a cigar of victory. On board Air Force One, President Whitmore consults his staff, who report that NORAD has been destroyed by the invaders, and the Vice President, Whitmore's cabinet, and the Joint Chief have all perished in the attack. Arguing about how they should have issued an executive order to evacuate the major cities that were attacked, David's father suggests that the U.S. government did know about the invaders, having stored some evidence of a previous visit at Area 51 in the Nevada desert. The president is humored and tries to tell Levinson that Area 51 doesn't exist. However, Whitmore's defense secretary, Nimziki, tells the president that the installation does exist. Hiller is picked up by Russell Cass, a crop duster pilot who is going across the desert with his family and a group of refugees in a convoy of RVs, while he is using his parachute to drag the alien's body across the desert. They then transport the alien to Area 51, which is run by Major Mitchell. 3 dead alien bodies and a repaired alien attacker ship are kept in a top-secret facility hidden outside Area 51. When the president comes, Dr. Brakish Okun, the facility's chief scientist, gives him a tour. Okun informs the group that the aliens can breathe our air and that their biology is comparable to ours. But the Area 51 team believes they communicate telepathically because they don't appear to use sound to do so. The attacker ship systems had been inactive since the late 1960s, but they have just been reactivated with the mothership's arrival. The alien Hiller kidnapped has an outer biomechanical suit on, which Okun removes to expose the living being inside. Because it lacks vocal cords, the creature uses Dr. Okun's voice to communicate with President Whitmore, who is outside the lab's glass windows, before reawakening and killing the majority of the examination team. The first thing it says is, "Release me." President Whitmore asks the alien if it is possible for the inhabitants of Earth and their invaders to coexist together. The creature says, "No peace." When the president inquires about its wishes, the creature replies, "Die." It enters the president's consciousness using telepathy, temporarily rendering him helpless. Armed forces members fire shots through the glass at the alien, with Major Mitchell stepping through the shattered glass to fire a final headshot. A coma is induced on Dr. Okun. During the instant that President Whitmore was immobilized, he was able to read the thoughts of the alien and learned of their plan. They attack planets, kill off any indigenous life, use up the resources, then move on. They're like locusts, he says. President Whitmore issues very clear orders to nuke the bastards. B-2 Spirit bombers are deployed, with the first destroyer targeted one that is hovering over a deserted Houston, Texas. The weapon explodes but proves ineffective at penetrating the craft's force field and destroys the city instead. As a result, the president orders the remaining bombers called back. During a business trip to Los Angeles, First Lady Marilyn Whitmore was caught up in the destroyer attack. Mrs. Whitmore is saved by Captain Hiller's exotic dancer lover, Jasmine Dubrow, after she stumbles onto the helicopter's wreckage that the First Lady was trying to flee in. Later, Captain Hiller discovers Jasmine, Dylan, and the First Lady camped out among the wreckage of El Toro MCS and helicopters them to Area 51. The president is informed by a doctor that his wife is bleeding internally uncontrollably. The president tells her when he enters to see her that, "The doctors say you're going to be just fine." She grinned and said quietly, "Liar." Soon after that, she passes away. David Levinson is discovered by his father in the hangar, screaming about how the nuclear attack over Houston will just hasten Earth's destruction while intoxicated. In an effort to console his son, Julius admits that since David's mother passed away, he hasn't been as observant of Judaism. David is instructed to leave the icy floor so that he won't catch cold by the man. A tech who is resting in the hangar is awakened by David's epiphany. When everyone is gathered in the hangar, David shows the audience how the attacker ship's shield functions. Then, using a program on his laptop, he turns off the ship's barrier, allowing Major Mitchell to easily blast a Coke can he had put on it. David offers a strategy that entails exploiting the newly functional alien attacker to obtain access to the alien mothership's interior in order to implant a computer virus that will compromise the defenses surrounding the destroyers and attackers on Earth. The attackers and destroyers will become susceptible once the computer virus kicks in, and the mothership might be destroyed with just one nuclear weapon. Levinson agrees to join Hiller as he pilots the attacker while Hiller uploads the virus to the mothership. Hiller and Jasmine take some time before the expedition to get married, with Dylan serving as the best man and David Levinson and Connie Spano serving as witnesses. During the service, David and Connie reunite and hold hands. While still on the mothership, Hiller is unable to disconnect from a docking clamp. Knowing they need to still fire the nuke, the two smoke cigars and thank each other for their efforts. They launch the nuke, which penetrates a nearby control center. Hiller's ship is suddenly free, and he furiously pilots it toward the portal they entered, narrowly escaping when the doors close. The bomb explodes, instantly destroying the mothership. Hiller and Levinson are caught up in the shockwave and debris of the mothership's explosion, but are able to return to Earth unharmed, crash-landing the alien fighter in the desert close to Area 51. When they emerge from the smoke and dust to join their waiting friends, they're both smoking cigars. The film ends as everyone watches debris from the mothership enter the atmosphere like shooting stars.